Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
No, Zach, really, I need you to go figure out how they got the audio of me snoring. All right. Oh, are we back? Cool. Oh, hey, good morning. Welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 7:08, 24 degrees. Hat, gloves, scarf, jacket. Do it all. Do it all. We are on WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Also down your Radio Pup app, Radio Pup. And we are now joined by one of the coolest guys in the county, at the Jersey Shore, I'm going to venture to say. Maybe the world. Maybe the world. We're welcoming Jay Gould in this morning. Jay, good morning.
Morning. Jeremy, you have such a radio voice, man. Listen to you.
Yeah, well, thank you for not using the hackneyed face made for radio line instead. I appreciate that.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that we could get you early in the morning. I know that I have had a number of folks that are very excited to hear from you. So let's get cracking. First, sure. I need you to tell people about yourself. I know you grew up here. What's your story? Where did Jay Gould come from?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Berkeley Township in Bayville. I attended the same grammar school and high school as Al Leiter, actually, Mark Leiter, Jeff Musselman. Those guys were early inspirations to me. I think, just having them around when I was younger was probably just gave you the feeling that greatness or success is attainable because they were so amazing, So I was really, really fortunate to grow up in the Jersey Shore and really had a great school.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've been here forever. So talk to us about Yashi, because I don't know that a lot of our listeners are familiar with what Yashi does. Just kind of a quick overview there, and then most importantly, personal note. Where did you get the name Yashi from?
So Yashi, first of all, Yashi allows local advertisers to place targeted video ads online. That's the short snippet. For example, a local car dealership, say a Lester Glenn, can easily place their television commercials on CNN.com or YouTube using the Yashi technology. So we have access to millions of websites. We analyze tens of thousands of ads every second of every day through our technology. We layer in data to help target those ads based on consumer behavior, consumer interest, demographics, as well as the hyper-local targeting right down to the latitude, longitude of the physical location of people. And the name, it's an ancient Asian name that means traveling successful merchant. And it's also a name. People have the name in Asia as well, mostly a female name. So this is like my baby girl. For my wife and I, we were co-founders. And at the core, it's what we do, right? We're traveling merchants, right? And it really just means success, and it made a lot of sense to us. So it also sounds really cool. It's phonetical, and it's a cool internet name, so we chose it.
So when you say it means like, traveling, whatever, this isn't like Alan Thicke trying to tell us that, that whatever company he's peddling in one of our ads actually is Greek for call now, right? This is for real. Like, you're not making this up.
Yeah, no, it's a first name, right? It's largely in Asia, in like largely India. It's a first name, Yashi, right?
Okay.
It's a girl name. Some guys too, but a girl name. So it's really interesting. Like a lot of European or Americans are not familiar with the name, right? So it was an interesting name. We ran across the domain name. One time the company actually had a different name. We changed it over to Yashi. It was just a name that made a lot of sense to us on a lot of different levels, and it was just cool and phonetical. And if you think about internet names, Google, Twitter, Facebook, they're 2 syllables, short, phonetical,
right.
5 to 10 characters. You know what I mean? So, it was a cool name. It actually made sense when we looked up the meaning of it, and that was the name that stuck.
So did you and Caitlin have any remorse when you had kids that you couldn't now use that name to name one of your children? I mean, because that would have been weird naming it the same as your company. You were okay with that?
I think it's more like if. Right, that's funny. No, I think it'd be more like if we ever had a pet, we might name it. Actually, I know a guy. The Farmville business. And this guy. So Farmville, the company is actually called Zynga, and the guy Mark Pincus, who started a company, he named his dog Zynga, and then when he started the company, he used Zynga as the name of his company. So for us, someday maybe we have a dog, we'll name it Yashi.
All right. Of course, there's got to be a pet involved because I'm a total pet guy. So all right. So we got Yashi. What did you? Well, okay. Let's get to the big question. So you sold, right?
Yeah, we sold the business.
And you got a couple shekels for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were approached by the number one TV broadcasting company in America, a company called Nexstar Broadcasting Group in 2015, early 2015. Nexstar has 100 plus TV stations across the country. It's not a household brand name with consumers. So if you live in a market that's a Nexstar station, you would probably know them as ABC or Fox in your local areas. They syndicate those channels throughout the country. They have hundreds of salespeople, and all those salespeople are already selling locally to local businesses like car dealerships and doctors and dentists and stuff like that for TV ads. And the synergies of our technology and what we have in the offering, it made a lot of sense. They approached us. They wanted to acquire us, and they bought it for nearly $35 million in cash. And it was an offer that we just couldn't refuse. So we didn't.
Wow, that is awesome. So born and raised here at the Jersey Shore, creating a business here at the Jersey Shore, selling for close to $35 million here at the Jersey Shore. So we have to get into that, but I know that Yashi wasn't your first rodeo, right?
No, it wasn't. I've been building internet businesses for the past 15 years before it was cool or sexy to call yourself an internet entrepreneur. I would say, in fact, early on, if you called yourself an entrepreneur, it probably meant you're unemployed. So, I built one of the first social networks. I built a video sharing site before there was a YouTube. I was the largest video sharing site. I sold those businesses. It's just something that I was fascinated with building online businesses for a very long time now.
Oh, that's again, super cool. So you've kind of done it here. What kind of advice would you give to folks starting out, younger folks starting out, trying to make their way, create a business here at the Jersey Shore? What would be your top, let's say, 3 bullet points that you would tell them to keep on going?
I would just say for me, I'm the sum of everyone that I've surrounded myself with over the years, right? And if you really want to be successful, surround yourself with really smart and people that can really, help your career. So I think my success is attributed to all those people, including my parents, my family, all of these advisors that I've acquired over the years and everything I've ever read, right? So even if you don't have access, like I remember years ago, my grandfather, who's 91 years old and still with us, and I was hanging out with him yesterday, actually, lives right next to my parents where I grew up. I was like, Grandpa, when I was 20 years old coming out of college, I was like, I want to be rich someday, And how do I do that? Like, how do I? And he's like, I don't know. You're asking a carpenter how to do electrical work here.
Right.
Like, what? And he goes, you should ask rich people how to do that. I can tell you how to be a carpenter. And I was like, God, it's no help. And it like dawned on me later, he was actually being helpful, right? So if you want to learn how to do something, go to people who know how to do it. And so I said, well, the problem is I don't know anybody who's rich. I don't know anybody who knows how to do business stuff like this and the things that I want to do. And he says, read. They all write books. Read what they say. And those will be your advisors informally without them even knowing it. So I really took that advice very seriously. I read a lot. I eventually surrounded myself with some amazing people in the tech world out in the Silicon Valley who were, future advisors and investors in companies and stuff like that. So again, your success, I think, is attributed to the people you surround yourself with. They say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I would say just don't give up, stay positive and motivated, and just surround yourself with amazing people.
Oh, thanks a lot, Jay, because you just pretty much told all my friends to stop hanging out with me. All right, so we're going to carry out, we're going to take that point after the break, and we're going to talk about what keeps Ocean County from being the next Silicon Valley. We'll be back with Jay Gould from Yashi right after this.
Get more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin at our website, WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Welcome back. Here with Jay Gould from Yashi. Local kid done good. And he did good without playing baseball. So there's a lesson there.
That wasn't in the cards for me.
No, I completely understand. I understand that. WOBM AM 1160 1310. Join the conversation 732-505-1160. Download us on the Radio Pup app. It is 720. Jay Gould from Yashi. So Jay, again, you mentioned Silicon Valley. I know in reading the story in the Asbury Park Press, you reference that you had offers to kind of move and to go out to where the intellectual property is to a large extent. So what kept you here in Ocean County first? And second, how do we bring more of what Silicon Valley is here and kind of build our own technology hub?
What kept me here is my family, right? So I think, time is the most valuable asset that we all have in life. And the time that you have with your family, I really think that people who chase their dreams and leave to go where they're at, that's great. But for me, that wasn't in the cards. It's very important for me to be around the people that matter to me in my life. And so my parents and my cousins and my family, my aunts and uncles and my grandfather, I stayed here for my family. To be completely honest, I do think that we have everything that the Silicon Valley has to offer and probably more, to be honest with you. So it's just a matter of time for our hub to build up. We have two major cities within an hour of the Jersey Shore. There's people doing very interesting stuff, including a lot of technology, of course, with New York City and north of us and Philadelphia south of us. We have Princeton University with all the education too, right? So you think about it, we're consistently number one with Princeton as a national ranking university. We have Rutgers, Stevens Tech, Columbia, NYU Poly, Cornell, UPenn, Rowan University, where I graduated, NJIT. These are major institutions that graduate a lot of engineering technology students. The entire region of the Jersey Shore is connected to two major roadways. We got I-95, which is one of the original roadways. We got the Garden State Parkway, which is a beautiful roadway. And, of course, we have major airports as well, Newark, Atlantic City, Philadelphia, JFK, LaGuardia. Everything's here that for infrastructure, right? Across the entire region, we have people that are educated, culturally diverse, affluent. Everybody's aspirational. So it's not that we're lacking infrastructure, right? That's certainly not the case. I think big tech companies also notice this in the Silicon Alley, as they call New York City, right? The Silicon Valley is out in California, between Palo Alto and San Francisco. They've been calling New York City the Silicon Alley for the last 20 years as well. You got Google and Facebook buying major real estate and buildings. You got Johnson & Johnson, AT&T throughout, the region here. So again, it's not a lack of infrastructure. I think for it to explode, there's a little bit of luck to some extent. You have to have your first major company. We have some more things to offer than they have. We have fashion in New York City, and we also have theater and music and museum and dance with the arts, right? They don't have that kind of stuff there, right? So it's actually cooler to be in the Northeast, I think, than it is to be in the Silicon Valley, frankly. Wall Street, we have the epicenter of the financial world and district. There's more capital and liquidity available for people to raise money here than there. But what we're lacking is a major exit, a liquidity event. And when you have one of those major exits, like Facebook produced 1,000 millionaire employees when they went public. Right, 1,000 of those folks become angel investors, and then they invest in new companies, and then they produce more jobs, and they eventually have more financial exits, and it compounds, and it's perpetual, and it exponentially grows, right? And it started way back in the 60s and 70s in the Silicon Valley, and you had companies like Oracle, and you had the Googles of the world many years later, and it just continually happened over and over and over again. Sun Microsystems. We just got to have our first big exit here. We have all the infrastructure, everything's in place. I don't see why it won't eventually happen. And then we will be another mate. And it's already happening in New York City, but I imagine that the Silicon Shore, right where we're at, I don't imagine that it won't happen down here either.
So Silicon Valley, Silicon Alley, Silicon Shore. So you talk about needing a little bit of luck, but I know you're a guy who doesn't necessarily believe that you're going to wait around for luck. right? You're going to make your own luck. So what can we do? What would you, if you had the magic wand, which we talk about a lot on this show, and had the ability to motivate our policymakers, our lawmakers, our decision makers throughout the area, if you could bring them all together, put them in a room and say, here's one thing that we can do, here's two things that we need to do like today to put ourselves on the map, to get ourselves moving along, to attract those kind of companies and those kind of investors, what would that be? But don't answer that yet. Don't answer that yet, because we are up against a break. And so I want you to ponder that. And when we come back, I want to get your take on that. Is that fair?
Sure.
All right, cool. You're like, wait, do I get to talk now? All right, we're going to see you on the other side of the break.
Thing. Hold on. A commercial break.
Jay Gould, Yashi, local kid, done really, really well without a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Be back after the break. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Don't poison your kids. Test for lead. It's that same line of thinking. That's why, we just don't go up to my mother-in-law to eat that often. Anyway, wake up with Jeremy Grunin, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. And on your Radio Pup app, 732-505-1160, 735, 25 degrees, heading up to 43 today. I am joined on the line by Jay Gould from Yashi. Again, he is a local entrepreneur, tech guy, brilliant. I was trying to take notes at the last Jay, I was trying to take notes the last time you were talking, because there were at least 6 words that I had to look up, and thank God there's a lot of commercials here. You know what I mean? Because you're certainly way ahead of me here. So, all right, we talked about luck, no luck. What could we do? What do we do to turn us into really the Silicon Shore? So go ahead, hit it. What do you got?
I mean, yeah. First of all, I believe in luck, right? So a lot of people say you make your own luck. I don't know that I necessarily believe it. I think that people can be lucky, right? So I think there's an element of working really hard, but you got to get lucky, right? It's not like you can't just create, a $35 million company and just by yourself, right? So there's definitely luck in life. So you gotta admit that and accept that.
All right, fine.
It really bothers me. It really bothers me when people say, "Oh, there's no such thing as luck. You create your luck." But I think there's a lot of luck in life, and accept it. I think personally for New Jersey to I think tax incentives are important. I mean, the federal government provides tax incentives through things like QSBS. I'm not sure if you're familiar, qualified small business stock.
Yep.
So if you invest in certain companies, you can, when they go to sell up to $50 million, they have 50% or 70%. In some cases, depending on the year in which you made the investment, there's a 100% reduction on up to the first $50 million of liquidity for those folks that had that early stock. I think Jersey should be doing things like this as well. Incentivize angel investors to invest in new technology startups through tax-free earnings on liquidity events in the future. If the companies they invest in are New Jersey-based when they started here, they probably should need to stay here and have a certain number of jobs here. I think you need to provide maybe tax-free payroll, tax-free sales tax, right? Things like that to encourage folks to be here. Because these are high-growth companies that over the long term, if you look at companies like Facebook that have tens of thousands of employees now, and they're doing billions in revenue and profit, over time, it only benefits the state and the local economy, right? We do have a division. You're probably familiar with it, Jeremy, the NJEDA. There's a fellow by the name of Cameron Hashimi, who reached out to us at Yashi, and it really just didn't make a lot of sense at the juncture that we spoke to take advantage of some of the things that they're offering. But he was I think he was like a senior individual there at the EDA for the technology and life sciences division. They have some programs. I think New Jersey can do more. I think they should provide grants and loans to startups as well, in more broadly in larger dollars, something that's more competitive. New York's doing something really interesting. You might have seen it on television. It's called Startup New York. Have you ever seen those ads on TV, the Startup New York ads? So they have like this tax-free zones that are like near NYU and things like that, right? So it helps create these jobs in the high-growth sector by providing, the opportunity to operate in these tax-free zones for 10 years in New York for eligible startups, right? We need to do things like that. If New York and bordering states doing that, we should be doing that or more, right, to try to draw people in. And we should provide, loans, or not even loans, just like invest in the startups, right? Encourage people to come here. I mean, that's how you get technology startups and early stage companies here.
Well, so you bring up a number of great points, and I think there are so many ideas out there of how we could stoke the flames of investment here, how we can really become an incubator state. And to your point about the Jersey Shore being so strategically placed between two major cities like Philadelphia and New York, the state is positioned in that way. And it's a shame. It is absolutely a shame that we are having jobs leave because of taxation, because of the cost of living, just because of, frankly, the fact that we're just not paying attention. Because we could flip the script on this if we got serious and got and really hunkered down and got involved. So I think
undoubtedly. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, undoubtedly. I mean, we I think maybe part of the problem is that the politicians at the state level look at it like it's such a great place to live, they'll pay their tax to stay. But if you look at it, the numbers are actually not showing that. The number 1 and 2 state in the country that people are exiting the states are New York and New Jersey based on taxes. I think most of the Northeast, right, the high taxes, people are exiting. It's so bad that they instituted an exit tax selling your house, right? So that's never a good sign. Like, okay, they're exiting, so let's just tax them more, right? Like, let's try to incentivize them to stay.
Right. We know
them from leaving.
We know they're gone anyway. They're never coming back. It's over. Let's make sure that we take one more pound of flesh.
Exactly. And look, it's the nature of the beast that they need to figure out how to try to retain us and keep us and tax us, because one of the things that, you sell a company for a lot of money and you get these financial advisors and wealth management people around you and they advise you. And one of the things, because I'm very conservative, they say to do is you should look into municipal bonds. And if you know anything about municipal bonds, they say it's great to, be in the state you're in because you not only don't pay federal tax, you also are exempt from paying state tax on that income. The problem is they also tell us I wouldn't buy New Jersey too heavily because there's a real problem with unfunded pensions. Right. So that's not a good thing, right? Like, so we need to, so they know that. So that's why taxes are a big part of New Jersey in the economy here is we have unfunded pensions. We have a lot of other issues, roadways, infrastructure, right? I get it. But encourage the high growth companies to come in. And then once they're here and they're implemented here, they're not going to move tens of thousands of people out in 10 years, right? That's not going to happen.
Right. I'll tell you what, Jay. There's so much to talk about. You have so many great ideas, and so the thing that occurs to me is a guy like you. How do you, I know that you're you're a young guy, young family, and you are in the prime of your productive years, right? So it's difficult to think about how you can give back and what you can do. But would you be open to being in think tanks? If somebody came to you from the state and said, listen, we'd love for you to sit down, be part of this Star Chamber group to talk about what we can do, whether it's the state, whether it's the county, or whether it's even just in Tom's River, you sound like a guy that needs to be at the table and talking about what we can do to stoke the flames of growth. Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to do it. I don't think it's a lack of ideas for these folks, right?
It's execution.
I think they know what they need to do. I think it's politics.
Right.
It's execution. It's politics. It's it's getting past Go right on the Monopoly map, right? It's difficult for them. They know what they need to do. I certainly don't think it's a lack of ideas. It's interesting because I feel like I'm an anomaly in many ways, right? And one of the ways I'm an anomaly overall is the fact that I stayed. If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is not a Silicon Valley company. It started in Massachusetts, right? He's a guy that grew up in Westchester, New York, right? And he is your typical technology Silicon Valley story where he moved out west when his company started to take off, So, there probably was nothing that was going to stop him, prevent him doing that, because he was highly ambitious at an early age and decided, I want to go where the money is, I want to go where the connections and the investors are and the talent is. And I took a less traveled path and a more difficult path. So that's the anomaly. I don't think the state should look at folks like me and say, look, they stay for their family. So it doesn't matter what the tax incentives are. No. Well, the biggest companies are leaving, right?
Yeah.
You need to keep them here.
Well, Jay, you know what? Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I think the moral here, I think what I just heard is, our show is about get up, get out, and do something. I want to thank you that you only got up and did something, that you didn't get out, that you didn't take the Mark Zuckerberg route. And looking forward to just huge things from you and your company or companies in the future. And, the one thing I do need a commitment from is that you'll come talk to us again, right?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Fun. Thanks,
awesome.
Jeremy. You're doing a great job.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. Jay Gould. We'll be back right after this.